This is the buzz out of camp, and it's centered squarely on the returning slugger, Shogo Asano.
Shadow. He just wrapped up his intensive winter training, what the local beat reporters have playfully dubbed the mountain retreat, and the results are immediately measurable and certainly conversation starting.
Asano didn't just spend the winter resting. He dedicated himself entirely to maximizing raw strength, specifically focusing on what they're calling Yamamori strength training, an intensive, maximal effort approach to lifting.
Shida. In just about a month, Asano tacked on 5 kilograms, pushing his total weight up to a formidable 95 kilograms. This isn't just bloat, according to the reports.
Shadar. The critical metric here is that his body fat percentage remained stable. This implies a successful conversion of mass into functional muscle, suggesting a real power upgrade.
The immediate belief, one that Asano himself seems to share, is that his batted ball speed has skyrocketed. Sheda. We've already seen footage from the indoor batting cages, powerful liners ripping off the machine, loud contact, and a consistent display of raw, explosive strength that was perhaps less evident before.
But now we shift from the gym floor to the baseball diamond, and that's where the consensus fractures. The fundamental challenge for Asano remains what it has always been, the defensive quagmire.
This is a cold, hard fact of modern baseball, especially under a demanding manager like Coach Abe, who simply does not dispense special treatment.
Shedar cannot reliably field his position. He will not stay on the big league roster. It doesn't matter how many balls he smashes into the net during practice. Defense is the gatekeeper.
This leads directly to the primary strategic debate surrounding Asano's career trajectory. Is the immediate focus on hitting the only logical move?
Many analysts, and certainly fans watching the roster crunch, argue that the clearest, fastest path to becoming a regular fixture in the lineup is to completely commit to being a designated hitter threat.
If he continues to polish his bat, aiming for elite slugging numbers and high home run totals, he carves out a niche.
If he tries to split his focus, involving himself in the messy business of improving defense, he risks getting caught in the mud, in a quicksand-like situation where neither his hitting nor his fielding achieves first-team quality.
You've got to ask, if he is intended to be a utility player, or primarily an outfielder, why the intense, focused bulk up?
Sheda, recognizing the structural needs of the club, have suggested that if Asano is meant to be a permanent power fixture, perhaps the organization should simply assign him to the DH pool immediately, stop worrying about the club, and let him focus on being a pure run producer. However, the weight gain also triggers an immediate and legitimate wave of concern among longtime followers.
There's a persistent school of thought that holds that for a player with Asano's previous injury history, stacking on muscle might be a ticking time bomb. The concern isn't that he's lazy, but that he's misidentified the problem. Was raw strength truly the piece missing from his puzzle?
Many argue that Asano's true deficiencies lie not in physical power. He already showed an ability to hit home runs at a reasonable clip considering his limited at-bats, but rather in consistency, plate discipline, and contact rate.
If it were truly as easy as lifting weights to become a successful professional hitter, then every player in the league would be an MVP candidate. Baseball success demands timing, precision, and the ability to consistently square up high-leverage pitches.
The fear is that the added bulk might unintentionally compromise his agility and the delicate mechanics of his swing, making him less capable of handling breaking balls and adjusting to opposing pitchers.
Yet, despite the skepticism, there is a counter-narrative emerging from those who have seen him up close.
They insist that he actually looks slimmer and more defined, jaboretenjan, than before, suggesting that the 5-kilogram gain is pure quality muscle that enhances explosiveness without hindering athleticism.
Skedar. Maintaining this kind of rigorous conditioning and adding clean mass is entirely professional.
It's certainly better than the alternative, which is the professional sports absurdity of gaining weight through poor habits. So here we stand at the crossroads of potential. Asano has successfully transformed his physical frame. He has the raw power, hitting strong line drives in the cage, ready to translate that force onto the field. But the real test isn't the scale or the gym. It's the consistency of his performance over a grueling season, and crucially, how Coach Abe ultimately judges his overall utility.
Was the mountain retreat a blueprint for breakout success, or simply an unnecessary detour that distracted him from mastering the essentials of consistent, professional-level hitting and fielding?
Only the games ahead in the 2026 season will provide the definitive answer to that 55-kilogram question.